Hello everybody and welcome back to another exciting episode of MugAndPlay. I am Nick and we're playing The Watchers today, and I'm already highly excitable because right before we started recording I had my phone charging like right here off to the side, and I guess it slipped off the desk and it just hit my foot really hard and I freaked out because it's like I'm just here in the room by myself and I distinctly felt something like hit my foot and I got my heart all a-clatter. So let's start the game now that we're in the right state of mind. Without thinking about it. I mean, QB's in here too, but she's over there. She's sleeping. Thank you for playing The Watchers. This game is a work in progress, currently being developed by Jordan Winslow. Okay, cool. The only completed route is the Don't Trust route, and that is suggested for your first playthrough, as the Trust route will not be finished until the second quarter of 2018. Okay. So we're going to go the Don't Trust route. I guess that's what we'll call today's episode. Don't Trust! Dim your lights, close out all external noise, and get ready for a visual novel experience like no other. Okay, then let me just get that right there. Probably not going to see as good of a visual on me. I got to keep that light on, otherwise you're not going to see a damn thing, and then what's the point of having a face cam? So we'll have that one on. I don't know. Can we turn on the mood lights? They don't want to work. Okay. Anyway. Let's get ready for a visual novel experience like no other. I awoke suddenly, not knowing how long I had slept. I was completely awake, fresh and alert, but good God, what time could it be? Lena was sleeping beside me, her fists closed, but then Lena always sleeps. Sleeps like what? Like she's just ready to be a wrecking machine? I mean, I think that's, you know, that's safety right there. Get yourself a lady that can kick some ass. Anyway, I glanced out the window next to the bed, seeing the motion sensor light on the porch was shining into the window. Something's out there. I had no desire at all to go back to sleep. Besides, it was probably at least 5 in the morning. Yeah, it was probably just like a squirrel or something. When that sets it off, and like growing up I had one of those like motion sensor lights in my driveway, but it was like on my side of the house, so when it would go off I would see it. And it's like, it's too bright out. What had I been dreaming of? I thought it must have been a particularly happy dream because it did not feel very positive this morning. Maybe it was the rain. I don't know, I like waking up and it's raining. QB doesn't, because she doesn't like the rain. I can't believe it's still raining, I muttered to myself, being careful not to wake Lena as I slowly rolled out of bed and walked downstairs towards the kitchen. That's right, that's where I go first thing in the morning. I'm gonna give myself a snack. Stephanie and I have started drinking these things called Soylent. It's not what you think. It's not made from people, as far as I know. It's made from soy. So yeah, they apparently they did it as an attention grabber. I don't know. It's not terrible. The wood paneling felt cold on my bare feet as I walked into the kitchen. I considered grabbing a banana off the counter, but there's something I wanted to check first. I glanced up at the old wooden clock that hung between the kitchen and the living room. Had the thing finally busted? The hands were at 12:30 a.m. That's midnight. Not 5 a.m. Jeez. I felt a tingling sensation on the back of my neck. I could have sworn it was at least 5 or 6 in the morning. Oh, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know what time. I'm playing this at 1:46 in the afternoon. So you draw your own conclusions. Broken clock is still right twice a day. Feeling a bit strange, I must have stood there staring up at the clock for at least a few minutes before it happened. What was that noise? It sounded like it came from my studio. I quickly turned around and saw something that made me forget about the sound I had just heard. Someone was outside my window. Oh, damn. I walked quickly into my studio and went straight to the window where there was no one outside. This wasn't, however, the most confusing thing. Not only do I live in Australia, but it's the middle of summer. Why is there frost on this window? What? I don't know what happened. Oh. Oh my God, I yelled as I desperately grabbed for something, anything to hold on to. This notebook, I'm ready. Watch out, my wife Lena fights people in her sleep. She's got her fists locked and loaded. The walls stopped shaking, but there was a very strange vibration lingering in the air, and it seemed to be growing in intensely. I braced myself in fear, but it seemed whatever caused the window in the other room to shatter and my walls to shake had stopped long enough for me to somewhat regain my composure. Whatever it is, go kick his ass, man. What the hell is this ringing sound? Lena! I yelled up to the stairs to see if Lena had woken up yet. She's like, I'm just putting on my boxing gloves, dear. I'm bringing out the stingers. That's the ones with the barbed wire on them. Then I'll let you use them in fights no more. Another obscure Simpsons reference, by the way. I do a lot of those, and if you know Simpsons the way I do, you probably catch all of them. Maybe I should just put a thing on screen that just says obscure Simpsons reference from now on. So that was the first one. No response. Still on edge, my mind began running through the possibilities as to what just happened. Earthquake? No, impossible. Explosion? Could my gas generator have somehow been damaged? No, that doesn't explain the window. While my mind was racing through various explanations as to what was going on, my body felt as if it may vibrate completely apart. I wasn't in pain, but something inside me knew I had to get out of this room. What's going on? Lena! I called out in vain, preparing to head upstairs. But before I could, my mind went blank, completely. To this day, I still can't explain what happened next. Neither can I explain why I went to my desk, took out a sheet of paper and a pen from the open drawer, and watched myself write as if my hand had a mind of its own. Just, my dear, I'll be away for about 10 days. Absolutely no need to worry. Leaving the note by the telephone, I headed through the door and onto the veranda. I like how they spelled that, veranda. I avoided the table on which last night's chess game remained, with the White King still in checkmate, walked down to the stairs of the porch and down the gravel path to the barn. I walked there, describing everything I saw out loud, in case anyone was listening. The night seemed to be suffused with an eerie brightness. So good use of suffused, I like that. Instinctively, I tried to recall what phase the moon was currently in, thinking that perhaps it was about to rise. Don't give me your astrology nonsense. You know, oh, the moon's in something's in retrograde. I have to deal with that shit at work, and I can't stand it. Because I actually described literally what retrograde means. I didn't mean it was like, oh, it's this spooky time where wavelengths are messed up. I'm like, no, it's when a planet's rotation does a weird thing. Here in the northeast Australia where I live, the nights are generally quite clear. Why am I outside? I already walked down the stairs to my porch and around the side of the house before I realized my thoughts were starting to come back to me. He's kind of like he's in a trance. I began to laugh. Ha ha ha! This is impossible. At this point, I began to think I must be dreaming. But before, there had only been frost on this window, now the entire wall was coated in snow in the middle of an Australian summer. And it was too quiet. Usually at this time of night, we would have a veritable concert from the frogs and crickets whose chirring sounds fill the night. Yeah, it's true. I'm not hearing any, outdoor noises, so now that you mention it, it's kind of odd. Now, however, there was a heavy silence. I headed towards the barn, still unsure what was motivating this decision. Maybe I was checking on the generator inside. Well, if you don't really have much control of your body, I don't think your body's gonna still remain practical and be like, oh, I know I'm possessed, but I really gotta check on the generator. I gotta make sure the wet-dry vac still works. I had only walked a few steps when, quite suddenly, the color of the grass changed. The walls of the house, too, and the barn all were bathed in a kind of bluish light. Ooh. The ringing sound was coming back. It felt as if all the empty space around me were filled with vibration. The grass seemed to undulate beneath my feet, and the walls of the barn seemed to become less solid. It seemed as if even the stars began to lose their color. I did not really expect this when I was gonna chew that 5 gum. Oh. Never mind, that's not 5 gum, that's acid. The sky became an impossible shade of black. The doorway to the barn distorted, and the space around the barn roof was like looking at hot asphalt. I saw a faint blue glow through the barn window. Without thinking, I walked around to the side entrance to see if I could see anything inside. What's over in here? Are we bathed in bluish light here? The first thing I noticed was the side entrance to the barn had been recently opened. This shouldn't be possible because I always keep it firmly closed in the summer to keep out the wild animals. This means either aliens or the animals are getting smarter. The air around me, or perhaps it was in my head, was filled with noises that I had never heard before in my life. I wanted to escape the cacophony of noise that surrounded me. The barn was my only choice. Ah, I see. So we can go in the barn or we can go back to the house. I feel like we're trying to escape this, whatever this thing is, until we can figure out what it is. So let's go in the barn. Oh, excuse me. I'm just kidding, that was the door. That was a fart joke. I went through the side entrance to the barn where I felt a brief reprieve from the incessant vibrations outside. I have to clear my throat, but I got all raspy and nice and narrative-y. There was an unnatural blue glow illuminating the walls. I could hear voices. I couldn't tell if they were coming from my surroundings. Perhaps I was just losing my mind. I couldn't make out any words. It was as if there were dozens of people muttering unintelligible sentences around me. I just wished this would end. The shadows felt like they were constricting around me. Was it truly a good idea to come in here? I don't know. Oh shit, who the hell are you? Time stopped. I don't know what I saw. All I know is I instantly regretted having entered that barn. Well, I guess we done goofed. Oh, damn! I acted in sheer primal terror. I was not going to stay here. I turned and ran, slamming my right shoulder hard into the barn door on the way out. Ignoring the pain in my shoulder, I continued running. I like that. I could feel a presence behind me. I ran up the gravel path towards my house. I was going to go get Lena and get the hell out of here. My clothes brushed against themselves as I sprinted up the gravel pathway towards my house. My lungs were screaming in pain and I could feel my pulse in my ears, but I couldn't stop to catch my breath. I ran. I ran so far away. I ran all night and day. Couldn't get away. And ran. Ran so far away. I could see the house right in front of me, but the more I ran, the further it seemed away. Further away it seemed. I realized as I kept running, not only was the house not getting any closer, but the stars had disappeared and the wind was picking up. The strange blue glow seemed to pervade the sky and everything around me. It was as if a massive storm had formed above me in the past 10 seconds. Maybe the X-Men are nearby. Ooh, that's cool looking. Suddenly, I couldn't move. It took all the energy I had just to turn my head to look at the approaching storm. The clouds were moving at an impossible rate. It was as if they were creating a vortex that was about to consume my entire property. I was hypnotized by the strange blue glow emanating from the clouds. My fear temporarily subsided and was replaced with a sense of wonder. And at that moment, I felt myself lifted from the ground. Oh dang, we getting abducted! We're starting to float away. I rose, slowly at first, above the crops, and then quicker. I felt my skin become coated in a layer of moisture as I was pulled upwards through the clouds until all I could see was the storm completely surrounding me. I don't know if I had simply run out of energy to be afraid, or if I was simply becoming more delirious, but I remember thinking it was quite beautiful. As I drifted to the storm clouds, it was like entering another world. The colors were dull. There were strange distortions in the clouds that made me feel as if my eyes were going bad. I felt like closing my eyes, but I wanted to see every detail of what was happening in case these were my final moments. I thought this was it, that I had finally lost my mind. Either that, or this was the most vivid nightmare I'd had in my entire life. All is well now, Michael. That ain't my name. I was only slightly surprised to hear this voice inside my head. I had, after all, been hearing voices for the past 5 minutes now, but this one was surprisingly clear, as if whoever was speaking was right over my shoulder. Just checking. I couldn't tell what direction was up anymore. I felt like I had changed direction, and soon enough I found myself falling through the storm and set down in some strange landscape I cannot even describe with words. Because you can tell I'm tripping on my dialogue, so you can tell I can't even use words to describe it. It was a vast landscape filled with an unnatural fog. everything was colored by a strange amber glow. And in front of me was something even more strange, if that were possible. But you know what? We're gonna have to wait until next time to figure out what exactly that is, because I feel like this is a good place to leave it, because you're gonna want to check out part 2, but I don't want to keep you too long today, just because I didn't want it to be a super long episode. But thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, be sure to poke that like button right in the eye. Leave a comment below telling me what you think. I'm really enjoying this. This is really well written, and I didn't flub my lines too much, so that'll be easy on Editor Nick, am I right? Cool. Alright, but thanks so much. Poke that like button right in the eye, leave a comment below, tell me what you think, and if you want to see more videos like this one, including however this one ends, then you be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Aerosmith wrote a song saying, I don't want to miss a thing, and, you know, just, that's what you have in common. Subscribe and you won't miss a thing. But thanks so much, I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!